Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? And welcome to a special Super Bowl Las Vegas episode of Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here against my pillow in cold ass Las Vegas
I
with
don't
my
know how
wife,
cold
Dr.
it
Alicia.
is.
Well, you said you're freezing. You are cold.
I am really cold in this hotel though.
Yeah,
It
it's
is freezing.
you don't know what's going on with it, and it's cold outside. It's like in the 50s.
I just feel like this has been the longest day in the entire world.
Oh, well, we're gonna talk about our day. We're gonna tell you all
Oh
about
my
that in a minute.
God.
Now, before we get started, I need your help. I just got a new phone. It's a long story. I'm gonna tell you all the story. Let me know. Can you give us a yes to let us know you can hear us? Give us a quick yes in the chat to let us know you can hear us. Okay. What's going on? Hey, business connections. How are you? If you'd like to do an interview, email support at theblackbusinessschool.com. My support team at the Black Business School. They can get in touch with me. I don't do a ton of interviews, but can you? Okay, Keywan says no, but I assume that means he heard me ask the question. So y'all can hear us. Okay, thank you, Michelle and Trina. Good afternoon, everybody. All right, so okay,
Wait, what are we talking about today?
well, I
There's
want.
so much to talk about. Black people are so interesting.
Well, the topic for today, and we let's just start off with our topic.
2024 is just like been so fabulous. It's only
Yeah.
the Black History Month. We really doing it this month.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay, so Club Shay Shay. How many of y'all saw the Club Shay Shay interview with Monique this week? There's a little bit to talk about there. The particularly part that has to do with DL Hughley and Monique. Later on, I'm gonna tell you all about the crazy day I had today. Today was literally a day unlike any other.
And then you got me all into it too.
Yeah, today was a day unlike any other. I'm gonna tell you all about that in a little bit. But and also I want to say I'm sorry for everybody that wanted to meet me this morning for financial consciousness training. I couldn't make it. We were on an airplane, but I will be there tomorrow morning. Yeah. Okay. There was the interview. And Monique went on Club Shay Shay, and Big FM says I was cool with D.L. Hughley, but when he got his afternoon show syndicated, he changed and didn't respond to much. Let's address that. I mean, I think that since this is, I guess, the age of truth tellers, I do know Monique and DL. Now that I think about it,
Wait, how
I
do you
don't know
know
Shannon Sharp.
DL?
Oh, Willie, him and Willie are really good friends, and DL called Willie to complain about a video that I did about DL, and I saw DL and Willie D's. Remember he had this event, 30 years of controversy or something like that,
Wait, I
and
didn't go.
yeah, I
Did
went
I
to
go
Houston.
with you?
No, I went to Houston for that.
Okay.
And DL was there, and DL. So I know DL in that capacity, and I'd met him a couple
So
other.
he don't really like you. Is that it?
Look, well, we'll talk about that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. This ain't about me. It's about DL and Monique. So Monique goes on to Club Shay Shay, and I think Club Shay Shay needs to be called Club Messe because that's what it's just Club Messe. Because basically, I the formula it seems for Club Shay Shay is let's get black comedians on the show. Not they don't have really a diverse set of guests. They have comedians,
I don't know.
a lot of comedians.
Hmm.
Let's get black comedians on here and let's just turn it into World War III. Let's get them to attack each other and lob Molotov cocktails across the table, try to destroy each other, and so that's pretty much what you see. I mean, tell me why I'm wrong. What do you think?
Man, we're in the age of truth. Everybody's speaking their own truth, and I'm here for it. And I don't know if I'm saying I'm here for it because I kind of like a little bit of the drama. I ain't gonna lie. It's so interesting. But at the same time, I really do. I mean, everybody has to get something off their chest. And here we got yet another person getting something off her chest. And, Monique, now I met Monique, right? She came on your podcast a couple of times.
She came on there once. Monique, yeah, Monique.
Was it one time?
I
I
did,
feel like it was more than
I
once.
did interview Monique and her husband Sydney, and they were very nice, very respectful people. I have her number somewhere in my phone. I haven't. It's not like we're friends or anything, but we did talk, and the interview's out there somewhere. She spoke her piece, and they talk, and I kind of just my
She
job is to listen.
admires you. She admires you.
Well,
That was the impression I got, that she really admired you in the work that you do.
well, I admire her,
Mm-hmm.
and I admire her husband. I also admire DL Hughley, even though DL was very disappointed with me because of what I said about him on the podcast.
What did you
I
say?
I said that, I think he got into it with Jason Whitlock, and I said, actually, he and Jason Whitlock are pretty much the same person. That
How so?
they're just it's one is a Republican, one's a Democrat, but they're the same in the sense that they're these people who kind of say things to be provocateurs. And DL, his liability is that he's a stooge. He unfortunately comes off as a stooge for the Democratic Party, and that was where I challenged him and said, we can't, as black people, in my opinion, I don't think we can proceed or progress if we live up the ass crack of the Democrats.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of that. And he took offense, and I don't blame him. I understand.
So he
Um,
don't like you.
but no, well, he doesn't. But the thing is, it's not the animosity is not returned. It was just me saying, speaking my piece about,
Okay.
like, come on now. And I think with Monique, but that's the thing. That's what I end up doing is I end up just I can give the pros and the cons of anything. So with Monique, I think my challenge with Monique was, I don't think anybody enjoys seeing a comedian spend so many years being not funny. Like most interviews with Monique,
Oh boy.
DL, we're gonna play a clip. We're gonna play the clips in a minute. DL made the same point. He said, just go write your jokes,
Yeah, focus
be
on writing.
funny.
If you focused on writing jokes as much as you focused on complaining, you'd be the best joke writer of the world.
Yeah, yeah, like her doing a lot of interviews where she's very serious and not making you laugh. That's like me being as a
Yeah.
professor doing interviews where I just try to. I'm not gonna be smart. I'm gonna be ignorant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no one wants to see a professor be ignorant. Nobody wants to see a comedian be unfunny.
Yeah. See, I agree with you because my initial reaction to Monique when she came out and she was a truth teller telling her story about what happened with a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but there was some controversy with Oprah Winfrey and Lee Daniels. There was some controversy there.
Yeah,
And
and Tyler Perry,
Tyler Perry. Okay, she fell out with the gang. So
the mafia.
the dare I say it, that's a trifecta you don't want to fight with, right?
Right.
Especially when you're in this industry. So, I like the fact that she was outspoken. I like the fact that she kind of was like Taraji P. Henson, where she's like, you know what, I'm gonna tell my story about what happened. I'm not gonna suffer in silence here. And I can respect that. But I do think that once you tell your story, you need to double down on your craft.
Hmm.
I mean, nobody wants, and I hear what you mean. Like nobody wants every time somebody puts a microphone in front of you, all you're gonna do is just rattle off a whole bunch of complaints because I could do that easily. Just complain,
Hmm.
complain. I was complaining today. You were making fun of me,
Hmm.
complaining. I'm hungry, I'm cold, I'm tired. I've been teaching for 6 hours.
Stop your whining,
I could
lady.
be I could be complaining, but I really wasn't complaining because I'm just happy just sitting here talking to you, doing this pillow talk. So yeah, and I think that you have this desire and this urge to be funny and to cultivate your gifts. So, I mean, I really do think that cultivate your gift. Like the best revenge is not to dwell on things that haven't gone well. The best revenge is to succeed.
Right, right. And by the way, everybody, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and Pillow Talk is where we get together and we try to have intelligent and fun conversations about things happening in the Black community. My wife is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. She sees lots of clients, particularly our folks, in terms of healing and also healthy relationships. So if you want to learn more about what she does, you can visit coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Now I want to play this clip. I'm gonna play the clip of Monique, and then I'm gonna play the clip of DL, and I'm going to bring this to the Council of Intelligent Black People, and I want y'all to give me an honest reflection on what you believe is going on here and what you think might be happening. You could say it in one sentence, and I'll try to read your comment if I see it. So let's start with Monique on Club Shay Shay. Ladies
Okay.
first. Here we go.
Oh, would you rather your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens without one?
Really, Monique?
Now, as y'all are watching right now who haven't heard this story, y'all going, they doing the same thing in the studio. They going, okay. That is exactly what happened. Now, I said to the team, how does that uplift our community? I said, sister, and her name is Jasmine, how could you ask another sister that? Well, we just planned. I said, tell me the joke in that because I don't know what you're insinuating. Then you're involving people that have nothing to do with nothing. Like, what are y'all doing? So I said, I'm going to call my brother. DL. I'm going to call my brother. I call DL Hugley on the phone. I say, hey, baby. Yeah.
Huh?
That's how he responds. Yeah.
Did he know it was you?
Yes, because they called him to let him know Monique's going to be calling.
Right.
Like this, it was getting crazy.
Right.
I'm like, just let me get on the phone with my brother, right?
Yeah.
Hey, DL, yeah. I said, listen, I just got off the phone with your team, and they wanted to play this game, Would You Rather? And it was like, stupid. Like, asking me about my husband and Lee Daniels and Corinne Steffens, and his exact words, well, that's how we do it.
Okay, so
Wait, okay.
that's it. Were y'all able to hear that? Let me know if you were able to hear that. Now, what she was referring to is that when she was on DL show, apparently they played a game like called Would You Rather, and they said, would you rather have your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with a condom, or sleep with Corinne Steffens without a condom? And Monique was offended by the question, right? Which is interesting. Now, here's what I want y'all to notice. I did anybody notice? I'm gonna play this video clip one more time, and I want you to watch. See, this is where I think that this
It's
conversation
gossipy.
this conversation ain't just about Monique and DL. This is about Shannon Sharp
Yeah.
being a little messy little diva, like he's a little gossip
Oh,
queen.
stop.
He's a big muscular gossip queen. Cause
Are you feminizing him? He's
that-
feminizing himself.
well, I ain't gonna feminize Shannon Sharp because he can probably whoop everybody's
I
ass up
know
in
he
here.
could,
Shannon Sharp's a
but
big boy. But did notice when she says what she says? Watch what Shannon does. Shannon goes, "What? Did he know it was you?" And then watch and then look at what
egging it on.
right. Did anybody else notice it? Notice also he's pouring her liquor. He's pouring her another drink.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm gonna give you some more liquor to get you talking. Because you're doing good now. We gonna get these ratings. So he's pouring the liquor. He's like, what? No, girl. No, he did. Oh, what? What, girl? No, what? He said, did he know
I
it was
know
you?
you would never. That is something you would never do. You
Oh,
would never do that.
no, Chris Hawker, Louisville, Kentucky, in the building. All right, shout out to Louisville. Okay, so I'm gonna play this again. So watch Shannon. I want y'all. We do critical analysis up in here. I want you to watch. Don't just listen to Monique, but watch Shannon's response to Monique. Let me know if y'all see what I'm seeing. Okay, here we go.
Would you rather your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens without one?
Really, Monique?
Now, as y'all are watching right now who haven't heard this story, y'all going, they doing the same thing in the studio. They going, okay. That is exactly what happened. Now, I said to the team, how does that uplift our community? I said, sister, and her name is Jasmine, how could you ask another sister that? Well, we just planned. I said, tell me the joke in that because I don't know what you're insinuating. Then you're involving people that have nothing to do with nothing. Like, what are y'all doing? So I said, I'm going to call my brother. DL. I'm going to call my brother. I call DL Hugley on the phone. I say, hey, baby. Yeah.
Huh?
That's how he responds. Yeah.
Did he know it was you?
Yes, because they called him to let him know Monique's going to be calling.
Right.
Like this, it was getting crazy.
Right.
I'm like, just let me get on the phone with my brother, right?
Yeah.
Hey, DL, yeah. I said, listen, I just got off the phone with your team, and they wanted to play this game, Would You Rather? And it was like, stupid. Like, asking me about my husband and Lee Daniels and Corinne Steffens, and his exact words, well, that's how we do it.
And then I called DL. What? Then you know what he said?
Did he know it was
What he say? Did he know it was you? Don't know he did. For real? What?
Oh
Here,
gosh.
take another drink.
Yeah. So I mean, Shannon Sharp, I don't know like what his purpose is for this show. It's not like he is trying to connect the dots anywhere and try to like guide the conversation. It's almost like he's just letting these comedians just lead. He don't even have questions. He just like just go and speak. It would be really nice if he had like a purpose. Like, what's the purpose of bringing her on here? Just so
I'm
that she can gripe.
well. I think the purpose is ratings, right? The ratings and money.
And to
Like,
pour alcohol.
yeah.
Who sponsors this? What's the alcohol that's
Mm,
sponsoring this whole thing?
that's a good point. And who are you in business with? Like, who's really
Like,
driving this?
what is
I think
going
somebody
on?
made a comment. I'm gonna do research on this, but somebody did make a comment about the show having a partnership with some big white company. If
Yeah. So this is again.
yeah, yeah, and I agree. And again, not this does not say though that Shannon does not have the right to just have a show and just say, "Look, I'm having a show. I'm trying to get ratings, and that's it." And comedians, um, comedians are interesting to interview.
Yeah, because they're on. They're always on.
They're
They're
funny.
funny. They're very entertaining.
Well, that's how Byron Allen got started. Byron Allen had a show called Comics Unleashed, and he used to just bring comics on
Oh.
and let them talk. Fox has a show like that where they bring in comedians.
Well, that makes sense because Byron Allen is a comedian, right? Isn't that how he got started?
Yeah, okay. So somebody says that's his own liquor line. Okay, well, that's
So
good
he's
then.
pushing his products.
Okay, well,
Okay,
which he
that
should.
makes sense.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that part.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
the idea.
I don't know if I
Other
would
than
push a product like
right,
liquor,
other than the
alcohol.
stereotype that black people just love their liquor more than they love.
Oh, jeez.
We love liquor more than we love books, but that's neither here nor
It's
there.
almost like he invited her over to the house by the fire. He keeps pouring her something to drink. The cameras are rolling, and he's getting her loose and everything. To just
Yeah.
come on out with it so he can get the ratings.
Well, that's what they do.
Okay,
It's funny, like we're here in Vegas, and they happen to have the Super Bowl here, and a lot of people don't know that the reason casinos give you free liquor is because
they know you're gonna
because they know
gamble.
that your inhibitions go down when you start drinking. When you
Hmm.
drink, you make bad decisions, and we talk about that actually. And
Impulsive.
yeah,
Yeah.
every morning we do financial consciousness training. And I'll put the URL if anybody wants to join us. We do this every morning at 10 a.m. And one thing that is true is that anything that reduces your inhibitions, anything that causes you to make risky decisions or to say things you would normally say, do things you would normally do, that creates opportunities for people to get things from you. Like that's why, like, so he's pouring the liquor for Monique the same way a guy might pour more liquor for a woman, because he's trying to get her to loosen up,
Well,
or
it'd be interesting if he is actually drinking. Wouldn't it be something if he's just got water going on over there?
you
He's
know
like,
that
you drink up.
that
You
is
know.
interesting. That is interesting. Okay. So Vic says Lamar Jackson is the NFL's MVP. I have mixed feelings about that.
Oh,
Yeah, not just a little side note, but Lamar Jackson's from Louisville. Well, he played in Louisville, where I'm from, and so I love him. He's my favorite player. But he just laid such
he
an
messed
egg.
it up.
He laid such an egg against Kansas City. The Ravens did.
Oh.
I'm sure he feels bad about being the MVP because the real MVP right now is Travis. Not Travis Kelsey. Patrick Mahomes. Like Mahomes is the real MVP.
No, the Taylor Swift is the MVP.
Oh Lord.
Everybody's ready for her to come
Let's please not
come
talk
here.
about. Let's please not talk about. I was having a good
She's the
day.
hit.
You got to bring up America's favorite white woman. Anyway, by the way, if you want to join us for financial consciousness training every morning, you can go to drboycedaily.com and join us tomorrow actually, and we'll be meeting in the morning. And everything, all the recordings are yours. We have a whole community, and we're going through my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. So let's get back to Club Shay Shay. So we heard what Monique had to say. So Monique feels that D.L. Hughley disrespected her, etc., and she has a right to share that voice. Let's hear what DL has to say. DL has a right to say and
Whew.
to respond, and he did
Boy,
respond.
he said
So
something.
here we go. Give me a yes if you guys can hear this. Here we go.
Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. And so Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes on Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she says she got off. She called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints. I listened to her and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't because I respected her wishes. She's a liar. It's also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who as a comedian talks as much shit about everybody else as she does. She has the temerity to be offended about anything as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk shit about her on video after video, and she encouraged her sweet babies to look at the video and find them. Do that. Do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find any evidence of that because Monique is a fucking liar. She's lying about that. But what you will find is Monique talking shit about some alleged contract dispute we had. Look at the ticket. It says D.L. Hugley, then Monique. She knows the story. But what she did in response to that, she talked about my dog, my wife. This broad even brought out my daughter's personal trauma. My daughter was molested, and Monique brought that shit out and told the world that I allowed my daughter to be raped in front of me. The lying motherfucker. She knows she was lying. And it only stopped when everybody from my family checked her. It's interesting. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren, because nobody fucks with me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies don't fuck with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real, except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay? And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies, not daddies who get paid by their daughters. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. Monique, if she'd have spent as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history. Because that's what Monique does. She complains and she has grievances. You never see her being a human being. You never see her being sweet and warm to people. Except when she's using it to butter somebody up to get something. There's a reason why everywhere she goes, shit starts. Everywhere she goes. How is it that nobody fucks with you? Not even your family. How do you, or I was on the road getting it. I get it every goddamn week. Look at my schedule versus yours. See how much I'm going. And I still manage to have a relationship that I cherish with my children. Can you say the same? You can't. Because all you do is talk about your grievances and who did you wrong. There's a reason you're by yourself. There's a reason you got to pay a man to love you. It's sad. There's an old adage that says you can't buy love. It's a shame, Monique, that you probably always will have to.
Okay. All
That
right.
was
So
low.
let
That
me
was low.
let me turn to the therapist here. You're a therapist, and I'm picking up trauma from just. I feel like with DL, he pulled out all the knives in his response to Monique because we sure everybody wants to jump on the side of the first person that claims to be victim, but nobody really listens when people respond, when people say, no, you're not a victim, you're the victimizer. And because I've seen that, some people
Mm-hmm.
are good at sounding like the victim. I'm not saying that we can sort through this one way or the other. All I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying is that I don't understand why when Monique says he did that to me, he did this to me, she did that to me, everybody's like, go girl, go girl, go. But when DL comes back and says, no, you you brought up my daughter's rape, which is highly inappropriate. You are not successful because you are not being funny. Comedians are supposed to make you laugh. You are spending all your time complaining, and that
I
is
don't know what she
that's a
spent.
that's a righteous point.
Yeah, I don't know what she spends her time doing,
Well,
honestly.
I mean, look at the
I
interview,
don't
but
know.
actually, you do know to some extent because
How.
even when she came on on my platform, pay attention now. I'm not dissing Monique. I like Monique, I really do. But when she came on my platform, I didn't hear one single joke. But I'm like, but you're a
Yeah,
comedian,
that was my thing.
right? But
Yeah,
but DL, if you notice, the first thing DL did when he criticized Monique,
was
what
he
did he
told
do?
a joke.
He instantly told a couple of jokes.
Captain
That's what
Crunch.
right. The Captain Crunch joke and the looks like Wendy Williams got a weight set. And I knew he was gonna do that. Well, you know why I knew that? Because whether you want to like DL or dislike him, the man is a professional. I knew when he responded before he said anything. I said, I bet you
That he's gonna say
in
something
the first
funny.
sentence he's gonna make a joke because that's what comedians do. Am I wrong?
Okay, so look, both of them have their version of what happened, okay, and it's real to them. Like
True.
when he was speaking, his version was real to him. When she was talking, her version of the story was real to her. We don't know what's going on. I know the internet is crafty, the internet is beautiful. They will come, they said search the internet, you'll find something. Trust me, people will search the internet and they'll weigh in on it, right? So so be it. I don't know if I sense any trauma, more so than I sense people just have there's some ill feelings. I'm really getting the impression that the world of the comedians is a very vicious world.
Well, I put up that Instagram post where I said that I showed
Oh,
what I see when I see all the comedians going on Club Shay Shay and fighting each other. And oh shoot, I basically put up a picture of two clowns like in a duel fighting
oh,
each other because it comes out it's like clown fights. It's like really angry clowns. Like and I
yeah,
know that sounds vicious, but that's what a comedian is. That's what a comedian is, a court jester. They're
That's a low blow, though, boys.
it's a
I
low
gotta tell
blow, but
you.
I'm sorry. It may be a low blow, but who would have thought? I don't know if anybody else knew how much all these black comedians hated each other, and how and here's the thing, it becomes an economic conversation to me because it's like you have a lot of anger from those who didn't get the same opportunities that other people got, right?
Okay.
Like the white man likes you more than he likes me, so you therefore become a gatekeeper, which therefore means I get to go tell the black community that you're abusing me and that you're a sellout,
Oh.
right? Why? Well, because Kevin Hart is friends with the Jewish guy who is writing the big checks. There's the word money again. There's that money. He's writing the checks to make these movies, and because you're tickling his balls and you get access and I don't get access, I'm going to go and scream victim. Whereas if everybody was doing good, Steve Harvey, honestly, I don't even,
Isn't he the best one out of the whole
he,
thing? Because
he,
he did not respond.
well, he's the wisest in the sense that he just basically said,
Man,
you,
forget it.
he said, you rarely get criticized by people who are doing better
Better
than
than
you.
you.
In fact, he said never.
Never.
And I thought about it. I said, man,
He's right.
I can't think of a single person who spent time attacking me who was doing better than me. It's usually people who are mad because another crab got higher in the barrel. And so they have us out
Mm.
here embarrassing ourselves. I think it's unfortunate. I think that the black
Yeah.
community, the mature people, mature black people. I mean, some people they just like drama, right? And that's going to get your ratings and podcast of the year and all that, whatever. But mature black people are disappointed. They're like, man, I thought all of y'all were like the brotherhood or the sisterhood,
Because
and
it ain't many of them. Not
yeah,
many of them. They really need to stick together.
nobody would have enjoyed seeing Eddie Murphy fighting Richard Pryor, fighting Red
Oh, they
Fox,
had great
fighting Martin
respect.
Lawrence. I mean, I want y'all to compare the two, right? Compare the messiness of what you see on Club Shay Shay, Cat Williams
Oh, let
attacking
me
so
tell
and so.
you, if it was a Shay Shay back then, I'm sure it'd be some mudslinging.
It could be, but pay attention
Yeah.
now. Which do you like better, the stuff that you're seeing now, or 30 years ago when Eddie Murphy made Harlem Nights
Yeah, and
and
brought
paid
everybody in.
tribute
Hmm.
to the black comedians that came before him? That movie was
Because he knew that financially those individuals weren't taken care of. So he did that movie just so they can have some money in their pocket.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And in that movie, which
Selfless.
was a beautiful classic, you
Hmm.
had what was it? You Richard Pryor,
Oh,
Red Fox, Della Reese, Robin, the brother that the man that the brother that died in the '90s
yes.
from Bebe's kids.
Robin Williams or
No,
what?
no, no.
No, wait.
Robin. It wasn't Robin Williams,
The
but
Bebe kids, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
And they're all passed on.
yes, and I love that. To me, that's a better. Um, that's more interesting to me than
Yeah.
to hear somebody say victim, 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 victim. Robin Harris, that's his
Robin
name.
Harris.
Thank you, Miss Silvacu. I don't know if that's her name, but thank you, Donovan as well. But yeah, like to me, that's what you envision. You envision the greats loving each other. Like, like when Jordan and Kobe were around, you knew Jordan and Kobe were competitive, but when Kobe died, Jordan cried.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like that to me is what you expect when you see people that are the greats. When I see, somebody as great as Cat Williams, it almost get to the point where people almost feel like they have to make a choice. Like, okay, now Steve Harvey ain't funny no more because Cat Williams says
Steve
that he's a
mm,
sellout.
Steve Harvey's moved on to other things, clearly.
Steve Harvey is living in white man's heaven right now. He's on a whole. He's like, man, I'm 60 something years old. I don't have to respond to none of this, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I really think that's a good reaction. I actually like that response, and I relate to it because that's kind of what I've done when people when I feel now eventually you get to the point where you know when somebody's just trying to pick a fight with you.
And that's the thing. I think this world, it's almost like this mentality that resources are very limited. And so it's this crab in a barrel
Hmm.
mentality where they don't even understand there's an abundance of everything. There's enough for everything, everybody to have. There's enough to go around, but everybody can eat. You don't have to hog it up. And I think these egos get involved, and you're watching out, and a lot of envy, a lot of jealousy, and people sit with this for a long time, and they do. And let me tell you, I'm sure this business is really tough. We don't really know. I'm sure people get real bitter and cynical and angry, I'm sure this is what's happened. And Club Shay Shay is really opening the door with the Cat Williams video, just opening the door for people to come, and everybody's going to air their grievances
I
now.
would prefer he opened the door by creating opportunities for everyone.
That would be
Right?
nice.
If he was able to get with his white friends, because you know he got white friends. When you blow up that fast,
Yeah.
you got some backers.
Hmm.
Get with your white friends and go make a $50 million movie and pick your top. He loves comedians. He has a lot of comedians on the show. Pick your top 8 comedians and put them all in the movie and pay them all $1 million each. Just say, but we gonna get along up in here. You know what I mean? That's what you do when you
But he's
want.
not a leader in that way.
He's
Like
not,
he doesn't come off where he's just like an ex-football player who just wants to interview people and have fun and drink his alcohol.
but
You
it's
know,
but it's
that's
not it's not it's he's not really an interviewer. Just though only an interviewer. He's an instigator.
he was instigating
Right?
a
He's
little bit.
instigates. Right? When you're pouring the liquor and you're like,
Yeah.
no, what? No, he didn't.
He has no
Well,
background in broadcast
well,
journalism.
well, he does a little bit.
Oh, does he?
He was on ESPN.
Oh,
He was good, right? He was good, but one legitimate critique that actually, believe it or not, Jason Whitlock, who's another guy that you can easily find things to disagree with. Jason made this point. There was that one episode where Shannon came on to the show, and he had on a do rag, and he had a bottle of liquor, and he had some black
oh,
and milds, and he starts doing sports commentary like I'm their brother with the black and milds with the do rag on my head, and all that. And we know that that street dude image is a stereotype. And what
that's
Jay,
a ritual. Not only is it a stereotype, that's a ritual.
you think so?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
People
Well,
who blow up really fast. That's interesting. I'm. Thank you for telling me about that because I'm not in tune as much as you are. But that sounds like a ritual move.
well, Jason said that
Hmm.
I think he made. I don't know if he made this whole point. This is what I was thinking is that I've never seen a white sports commentator do something like that.
Hmm.
I've seen a couple of black ones do it. Almost like we have to go.
Wow.
And Dr. Claude Anderson actually talks about this in his books. He says that the black man, in order to please white folks, has to be exaggerated. You have to be it's some sort of extravagant version of yourself. You have to
Yeah.
be ghetto fabulous to get attention. And this goes all the way back to slavery. He said, like the white man puts on a hat, we got to put the hat on backward. White man gets 2 tattoos, we got to get 20 tattoos.
Yeah.
If you notice, if you look at rappers look like caricatures. They have way too many chains, way too many tattoos, a big long criminal record, tattoos on their face. Just stuff like that.
Just
That's
extreme like
right.
that.
It's all a grab for attention, right? It's like, look at me, look at me, look at
Pay
me.
attention to me, seek that validation. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. Really, that's what happens. Now, you mentioned trauma, but that's what happens when a massive group of people have been traumatized.
You think so?
Yeah, because the first step of individuals who are traumatized is that see me in what's going on. Pay attention to me. The worst thing you can do to somebody that's been traumatized is to ignore them.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because people who've been traumatized need to be seen and heard. First,
Mm.
first and foremost.
We leave the world in trauma.
We need to be seen and heard. It's almost like my day is not complete until somebody looks at me and validates me. I need to be louder. I need it to be stronger. I need to seek attention because ignoring me and my pain is something that um that is on the forefront of my mind because I am seeking this validation. I will do whatever it takes. It's like a child who doesn't who will do anything to get attention, even if they act up. As long
Wow.
as they get attention and they feed them. Now, I don't know. I mean, it could be applicable to this situation as well, for
Wow.
sure.
Everybody, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And on Pillow Talk, we like to have intelligent conversations about things happening in the Black community. Alicia is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work, and she also heads our Black Financial Therapy Department in the Black Business School. She helped me put that together. And so if you want to learn more about what she does and see some of her work, you can visit coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. And just as an FYI, we are about to sign the contract to secure the venue for the 2024 All Black National Convention. So write this date down if you want to dig in and get with other like-minded people who care about the community, who want to learn about wealth and investing and everything else. and also learn about relationships and health and come together with Black experts. Just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. It's going to be October 25th through the 27th in Chicago, in a suburb of Chicago, not in the middle of the city, but in a suburb called Lombard. So if you are interested in joining us at the convention, just go to allblacknationalconvention.com and you can get your early bird tickets. We limit the number of tickets that we sell because we don't want to have anything that's too big. We want it to be very comfortable for you to network and connect with other people. So we will sell out. So feel free to go to allblacknationalconvention.com. All right, so let's get back. I want to tell you something I don't think I've ever told my wife this story. So DL, when he talked about Monique, and when Monique was speaking about that little incident, like would you rather, she was talking about DL's co-host, a lady named Jasmine Sanders.
Do you know her?
I do know Jasmine.
How did I know you know
I've
her?
never told you about Jasmine because
Oh,
it
what?
it
What
just never
happened?
came up. So here's my Jasmine Sanders story. So my friend in New York, she says, I went to New York and my friend said, we want to try you out for a radio show. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And she says, this is the person that we think would be a great co-host with you, and we want you to do a test. So we did a test. We went into the studio and did a test, and my test co-host was Jasmine Sanders.
Oh, how did it go?
It went really well. We had a great time. We
What
got a great.
happened?
I got trumped because DL called like the same week, and so we were gonna do a show together.
Oh,
But a more
wow.
famous man called, so she was like, "I'm gonna go work with him." Like Dr. Boyce, that would be cool, but he ain't no DL Hughley. So
Is this like a mainstream radio station? Like
yeah.
what
Oh
station?
yeah, and they've done a great job. I think they've had that show probably 10 years now. But yeah, that was when I met Jasmine and we sat there and we did a bunch of segments together and kind of, went back and forth. And I mean
So
and
you weren't as funny as DL?
of course, I'm not as funny as DL. DL, you know what? I don't even know. Again, I don't know how DL feels about me. I know the last time he wasn't too happy with me, but I have the utmost respect for his professionalism. I still remember almost 30 years ago. A lot
Yeah.
of y'all, yeah, tell me if y'all remember this. Do y'all remember when he went on The Fresh Prince and did a guest appearance?
No,
And Will
I don't
Smith,
remember.
in that episode was really good. It was really educational actually because Will Smith thought he could just go be a comedian just because he was naturally funny. He thought he could just get on stage and tell jokes,
Oh no.
and he actually bombed.
Yeah.
And DL was like, "No, this takes work. Like this is an art. It's a
Mhm.
craft. You have to practice." And he showed like what a real comedian does. And since that time, I've always seen DL as the utmost professional. I'll also say this. When I went to Willie D's thing, Willie's my buddy. Love Willie. The guy from Kid and Play
Which one?
did a set. The light skinned one. I think he's doing comedy now, and he goes up there.
Was he funny?
He was. I'm not. I'm about to be honest with you. It just wasn't very good. I mean, I don't want to be no hater because I know that's a friend of Willie's, right? I'm be respectful, but it was very awkward. Let's say that.
Okay.
But then DL goes up there. DL was there and Mike Epps was there. And you could clearly tell the difference between the professionals
The
and the amateurs.
seasoned.
You
Yeah.
could tell the seasoned versus
Mhm.
unseasoned, prepared versus unprepared. DL, so the thing that, so I think that, what I really hate is I hate the idea that DL and Monique aren't able to collaborate because we've seen them both when they're very funny. And DL makes, I think he made some valid, just like Monique made valid points.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
why can't we acknowledge that DL has valid points? Like I just don't understand
Who
why.
knows what really happened though?
Right.
Who
Nobody.
knows?
Right. Nobody knows what really happened. And the truth is, does it? I mean, the question is, does it really matter?
It doesn't matter.
Right.
It does
It's
not.
not going to make a difference in my life or yours.
Right.
Right. So okay. So Monique feels offended that DL question on that show. I think that can be acknowledged and validated. You taught me about validating feelings and stuff. I learned
You
that
know that's so important.
from all the therapists that you hang out.
Empathy.
You know
Empathy is
what?
so important,
I
boys.
think empathy is a good thing. Empathy is a good thing in some situations. So
No, in all
I don't think it's
situations.
good in all situations. I
How
don't.
not? How is empathy
I
not
don't want to
good?
go into it.
Why not?
Empathy's not good to have in war because
What
i-
war are you going? Listen,
if you're in war, if you're a soldier and you're too empathetic
a
with it,
soldier. We're in a nice
if you
hotel in the
are,
middle of Las
yes,
Vegas.
but if we were in a
There's no
war,
war going
if we
on.
were in a war and it was either him or me, I cannot over empathize with how that man feels. I got to do what I got to do, right? But I do understand. I think with family, people you love, people you want to be constructive with, empathy is essential. Thank you, Latoya Young. Latoya Young says it too. She agrees.
I'm not here. Listen, we don't need to triangulate our conversation here. The thing is that there's no war going on. It's the war inside your soul that's happening.
Well,
Like, what are you
I
talking about? But if your back is against the wall, yes, you're gonna scrap for what's yours. And then at the afterwards, you're gonna sit back and think, how did I create this? As within, so without. If everywhere you go, you're at war, then something's going on inside of you. You have to be able to stop and say, you know what? Why is this one person being all peaceful, living this peaceful life? But me, I'm having wars with everybody that I come in contact with. Think about whether you're the common denominator. I'm not saying you, Boyce, but I'm just saying in general, like, why does everything have to be war?
I own it. I agree with you.
We
You
are
know, I
safe.
think no. I believe that men and women have different roles. It reminds me of that goose that was blocking the road when we were trying to run. He was ready to go to war with me. Remember that? I'm sure I told y'all the story of the gangster goose that basically was about to fight us because we were about to cross this. We were going to try to run around him, and he was ready to go to war with me so that his woman could sit over there and sit on the eggs. I did not know that his mother of his kids was sitting on the side, sitting on the eggs. Now she wasn't thinking about war. She was being very peaceful. She was living in her feminine energy, right? And not without a care in the world. And the reason she could do that is because her husband said, "Baby,
I don't know if that was her
don't you think
husband.
about war, whatever he was.
You're
I don't know if geese get married,
you're
but you get the point. Like the
humanizing these people.
male goose is like, I'm gonna think about war, so you don't have to, right? And so that's how I feel as a father and as a husband. I
But
think
nobody,
I
okay.
think about the wars that exist, the battles, the threats, so that y'all don't have to. So you and the girls can sit in the house and live in a nice little fantasy world. But I'm thinking about the R. Kellys that are out here. I'm thinking about the people that, because we got beautiful daughters. I think about, the sex traffickers that are over in the city right across from us. Just like I think about all these things. I'm like, I'm always on alert for that. So yeah, I think that you have to always be prepared. However, I'll let you get the last
You
word.
are not going to, okay, move on. We'll move on. I
Okay.
have thoughts
So
about
so
that,
so
but
but let me just say this with DL though, right? Like I think with Monique, we can acknowledge what she said, right?
yeah.
I just challenge everybody listening, why not acknowledge what DL said too?
Yeah.
Because I feel I'm gonna tell you like this.
Who's not acknowledging both sides of the story?
I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying like when I
Oh,
look
you're
at
just assuming that
well,
that's
I'll
happening.
say this. When I look at comments, I look at trends, like in terms of where people are going. And I think when DL made his comment, a lot of women were very dismissive. Like they were just like, "Oh, you in here just lying, just cover your butt," or "You up in here trying to go get you a Netflix special," or you did her
Who
wrong.
said that? I didn't see those
Go look,
comments.
go to the shade room, and I want you to read the comments,
Okay,
and
I
you can
will read
and the
them.
comments that get upvoted the most are the ones at the top, right? So
Hmm.
if you look at those top comments, I could tell there were a lot of people, mostly women,
Well,
who
there are people
who
picking a side.
I get it, right, and
Hmm.
that's what I'm saying. I think that what I saw with DL, the reason, listen to the words he used. They were very strong words. He said she's a effing liar. That he said that after Monique made a very interesting remark, basically claiming that DL allowed his daughter to get molested.
I didn't see that remark, but the thing is that he called her a liar and then said, "Oh, but she did call me." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what she said. She said she called you.
Yeah,
She said those questions were inappropriate." Is he saying that he never asked her those things?
yeah, I think
So
that.
then some of what she said was accurate.
Yeah, I think with stuff like that, maybe you can work that out
That's
before the
kind of
show.
tacky. Can
Honestly,
we agree that that's a tacky question?
it's a
Would
tacky.
you ask anybody that comes on your podcast a question like that? Would you ever?
I wouldn't, but that's why. But that's why Jasmine
Is
wanted to
that
do it.
supposed to be
Well, that's why.
funny?
Well, that's why DL's show is nationally syndicated and
Well,
mine isn't.
let me tell you something. Did
Because they're
did
better at it.
Jasmine
They're
win?
just
Am I the second? I'm the second runner up
yeah,
with Jasmine.
I had to. I couldn't get Jasmine Sanders, so I had to take you
You
instead.
took me
Yeah,
instead. That
but
is
no,
so
no. In
funny.
all seriousness, though, I feel like yeah. The question was racy, and I think honestly, in all fairness, though, Monique could have said, "You know what? I ain't gonna answer that
She
question." She could
overreacted.
have responded like a comedian,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Like a comedian would say, "Girl, how the hell you gonna ask me some shit like that? I don't want my husband up in nobody else's bed, so I'm not even answering it." That's what I did.
yes.
Cause Dame Dash, when I had Dame on, Dame tried to pin me in a
How?
he asked me a question. Smart people know how to ask a question where no matter what answer you give, it's gonna make you look stupid. But I'm smart too. And I'm a chess player too. Well, I don't play chess, but I think like a chess player because I'm a mathematician. So I saw what Dame was doing, and I saw he was backing me in the corner. And just like in basketball, when you know they're trying to trap you, you avoid the trap. You don't even dribble in that direction. So I just said, I'm not answering. I said, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. And he was like, well, come on, which would you rather? Would you do that? He tried to use that whole Dame Dash bully tactic. I said, no, I'm not answering your question. Well, what do you mean, Doc?
You love that kind of stuff, though, boys, don't
Yeah, well, you can't bully me. I ain't, no, that ain't gonna work. So I just
you?
basically was like, I was like, no, like I'm not. And so I think that here's the thing. I think that Monique, what she should hear, and I love her. I
Are
really
you
do.
taking a side in this,
I'm
boys?
not taking the side.
Okay, I
Well,
just want to make that clear.
okay, how about this? How about
How
this?
can we take a
To make
side?
how about this to make it fair?
Both sides seem
Okay,
legitimate.
both sides are legitimate, but I think that more of the burden is on Monique because
How
Monique
so?
because Monique instigated the attack. I think that the first person who is because
Well,
remember
Monique would
because well
say
remember
did. Monique would say you started it
but
by
that's
asking me that question. That was
okay.
rude.
Yeah, and I think and what DL said, which I thought made more sense, was he said everybody gets asked a question like that. Everybody on the show gets that. And
Okay.
again, I'm not saying it's okay. I just think that there's a more graceful way she could have responded. I don't think she had to say, "Oh my God, I'm so offended," because that's not what comedians are typically supposed to do,
Well,
right?
maybe it was a
Comedians,
trigger. Like I don't
yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
saying
right. Okay.
I'm honestly, I'm not really I don't care, honestly. I mean, I don't care in the sense where I don't know who's at fault. I'm here to try to explain. So maybe that was a sore spot for her. Clearly it was. Maybe it was, you know what? My husband is off limits. Please don't talk shit about my husband or insinuate anything that has to do with homosexuality about my husband or having sex with a whore. Because that's what
Mm. Corinne Steffens. By the
Whatever.
way, in case y'all don't know,
Self
Corinne
proclaim.
Steffens, she's known as Superhead. That's her nickname.
That's her nickname. So
And she wrote
this
a
is
whole
what she
she
calls
wrote a whole
herself.
book about sleeping with like 500,000
A whole
people
bunch
or
of
something.
people,
Yeah.
right? So maybe she's like, you know what? That was a low blow. That's off limits. I'm not making any statements. You wouldn't like it if I made statements about your daughter. So maybe that's what she's saying. Honestly, it was a trigger.
Okay.
Again,
I
it
get
was
that.
like it went too far. Her feelings got hurt. And I feel like if you go too far and you trigger somebody, it's not necessarily your position to apologize for triggering people, but on some level you just be like, I didn't know it was a sore spot. Why can't we have a tender conversation with each other? Why can't black people just be kind to each other? Instead of getting triggered and lashing out and everything just falls apart, the whole relationship falls apart. Like I don't we got to relearn how to interact with each other. If somebody's upset, don't dismiss them. He
Yeah.
came across to her as dismissive. She could have said, "You know what, DL? It makes me seem like you're kind of dismissive to me." And he'd be like, "Oh, no, no, no. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'll take it down. If it was offensive to you, I'm really sorry." That's something that we always do. Like there's something in the tone and the way people address each other that I think could be way more respectful.
I do agree with that.
You know?
I agree with that. Um one thing I'll say that I picked up from just kind of watching the comedians speak it's almost like they have some kind of a code that they stick to where they're committed to their right to free speech without without you shutting them down because you're offended. I think comedians,
Oh
if you notice
yeah.
like the way Chappelle responded when he was being shut down for what he said and because what he said was offensive to trans people or when Chris Rock got slapped by Will Smith, a lot of comedians ran to Chris Rock's defense because they ran to the defense of comedians in general having the right to be
Oh,
funny
the art
without
of the yeah.
they're having the right to express their art in whatever way they see fit without having to worry about whether or not they offend you
Yeah,
you
but the
know
thing,
and
yeah.
so listen but listen though see here's the thing I think that if if you really want to play that comedy game, and I don't know, I'm not sure. I'd be curious to know, like DL, if you hear this, like reach out to me, man. I don't have anything against you. I'd love to have you on to explain this. I believe that like his reaction would be like if I say something that's funny and it offends you, then offend me back with something equally funny,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
like, like,
How can you be a comedian and have hangups? Like, I
mm,
thought that honestly, I thought comedians, it's just like you laugh it off. That's the ultimate defense mechanism, right? Of your pain. That's how
yeah,
comedians who go through a whole lot of crap growing up are the best at their craft because
mhm,
they make fun of themselves. Just like Monique said, I don't know if you saw that part of the interview where she was just like, yeah, everybody was calling me fat. She was like, I've been called fat all my life. It don't even offend me anymore. Go ahead and call me fat. But I guess talking about her husband is, don't go there. But, so that's what I'm saying. Like comedians are supposed to be able to take it, but clearly they're very sensitive. Comedians are sensitive. They're very have a lot of ego involved.
that's so true.
And, I think on some level, maybe they're just kind of like disturbed individuals because they see funny in things that aren't really funny. And I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. I'm gonna tell you that being a really good comedian is a very intimidating superpower.
It really
Because
is.
I've been roasted by a couple of
Ooh,
comedians,
it hurts,
and
don't
I
it?
was like, man, damn, like
Oh,
that like
Corey, what's his name?
Corey Holcomb.
Oh, Lord.
Corey Holcomb did an episode about me every week for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, but how you drag me into it? I didn't got nothing to do with
Right, and
it.
that was when me and Willie got
I
on
didn't
the
even
phone
really
and
care,
decided to shut it down.
honestly.
Yeah, it was more like it was, and the thing is that's
I have no hangups. I
yeah,
have no
that's so true.
hangups
That's so
because
true.
I know what's real in my life and I don't seek validation from people I don't even
You mean you don't
know.
get your truth from the internet?
I don't get my truth. Well, it's not even just that, but I just don't get a validation of and some validation about who I am because my surroundings validate me. I don't need to have it on the internet. It's nice to get it. It's very nice to get it, but I don't depend on it.
Mm,
So I'm not going to be offended by what somebody says on the internet, no matter how hard, how tough it is.
yeah.
I'm here for. There are people in my life who love me, who really love me and know me, and that's all I
Mm.
really need. I'm grounded.
I heard that. Well, you know what? I think it's and and the reality is that it actually, when I did talk to Corey after the weeks of Corey, kind of roast, because I was like, damn, this guy's so funny. I cannot
He's a great
I'm not going
comedian.
to out funny him. But at the same time though, again, I'm not, like, my superpower I think is my intelligence, right? So if
Your
we could
big brain.
if we there you go. You like my big brain,
Your
baby.
big brain,
I
yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, but so it's like, okay, but if we get into an intellectual conversation, I'm probably going to win that, right? And the thing is though, it's like I think Corey said something that I agreed with when we finally did talk, because I enjoyed it. I'd rather, if I'm fighting somebody, I want to figure out, like, okay, how do we become friends? Because you're a pretty good fighter. I'd like you on my team. That's how I
Uh-huh.
think about it. Like I might, like, how about we work together, man? We could kick everybody's ass. And so,
Respect.
right, so I sat there, and I remember Corey said something during that conversation where me and him and Willie were talking, and hundreds of thousands of people were watching
It's
that. It was,
crazy.
yeah, and I loved it. It made me happy that I think about, like, younger guys, and I think about younger guys watching two black men at the age of 50 resolve our dispute,
Oh
peacefully,
Lord.
and then walk away, because it's something I've always preached. I've always said, instead of annihilating your enemy, how about you talk to your enemy? And this might be where tools like empathy could come into play, where maybe you see, like, okay, is there anywhere that there's common ground? Because clearly, if you're kicking his ass and he's kicking your ass, y'all respect each other.
Yeah.
Y'all know, you see him come, you're like, oh Lord, oh, I gotta get ready. So imagine how great it is if you learn the skill of saying, okay, you know what, man, come on, let's be friends. Like, I know you don't want to fight me because I'm gonna kick you in your nuts, right? And I don't want to fight you because it hurts. But if we become friends, we can really do great things. So I sat there, and I put my ego to the side, and I listened to him, and I apologized, and I said, you know what, when you come to Chicago, I'd love to come to your show. Can I come to your
Mhm.
show? And I think he would give us, like, backstage passes or something, and that was cool. But one thing he said that was interesting was he said, yeah, well, he said the internet is brutal. He said when you put yourself or your family out here on the internet, it's very, very brutal. And I thought about that, and I said, that's actually, I started observing most of the time when people put themselves out there like that online, if you go viral, you're gonna just have miserable people in the chat saying nasty shit just because that's like a sport for them.
Yeah.
That's just what they do, and you can't take it too seriously. You have to learn, and I think LeBron James was even talking about how he said, you eventually learn you just got to ignore the comments,
Hmm.
and that's pretty much what I mean. When people come there with a certain type of energy, it's like, okay, I asked for this because I
Look,
put myself out there.
the thing is that that's how you know somebody won. Somebody won against with you if you get offended. Like that's how
Mm.
comedians win. Comedians will go, there's no limit. They all the stops are gone when it comes to comedians. Comedians will just keep going and going and going. And then as soon as you get offended, that's when they really start
That is so
laughing. Because they're
true.
like, I got you now. I
Yeah,
ain't got you.
we playing the
You
dozens.
mad now.
We throwing mama jokes back and forth, and then you start crying.
You start crying, and that's when everybody start laughing because it's over. The whole session is over.
I finished
I didn't
him.
offended you.
TKO.
Exactly.
That
You
is
got to be
that's
able to
true.
laugh at yourself. Like, stop taking yourself so seriously.
Well, and really, and that's not just a rule in comedy. I mean, I think that's also a rule in politics.
Yes.
Roger Stone, who's like a buddy with Donald Trump,
Yeah.
there was a movie called "Get Me Roger Stone," and one thing Roger Stone said, he's like a real prick, kind of a lot like
He's like
Trump.
a little
Like imagine
ass.
somebody who's friends with Donald Trump, right? You got to be a prick to be friends with Donald Trump. He didn't give a damn, and you know what he said? He said, "Never defend yourself." He said, "Always attack."
Always attack.
Yeah, if they attack you, don't worry, don't get defensive. Just a counterattack.
Just counterattack.
Attack them
I
like
love
you
it.
call me fat. Don't explain that you're not fat.
Just
Just
say
circle.
you
Just say
stupid.
right. You say I might be fat, but look at your mama. You know what I mean? We cracked the code.
The
We
dozens.
cracked the code.
It is all about cracking the dozens.
That is so true. Yeah, and I
Which
would.
is a black
It,
hold on, that's a unique black experience.
it's
You
true.
know, the dozen. Like I remember when I was young growing up, we were all so your mama so fat, your mama so ugly. I mean, nothing hurts more than talk about somebody's mama. But that's the beauty of it.
See, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know how easy this would be, but I really think when you see Cat Williams and Monique and all the other Bernie Mac and what's his name, Cedric the Entertainer, all those people going Club Shay Shay, and they're racking up all these views and getting all this conversation. There's got to be a business opportunity in there somewhere.
Why are
Like
they
what
not thinking?
is there some way they can get on the same page? And and
But
just
Cat Williams was funny though.
Cat was very funny.
He was
Cat's hilarious.
hilarious.
Cat was great. All of them did good. I mean, if you watch
I haven't watched all of
Cedric
them.
did a great interview. Steve Harvey did. I didn't watch all the interviews on Club Shay Shay. Honestly, I
Wait,
like.
let me tell you, I have an issue with a man naming his show Club Shay Shay. I don't know why that just seems
I heard someone else say that.
Club Shay Shay. That
Well,
just sound
I
like
think Shay Shay was his nickname.
really?
Yeah, I mean, his name was Shannon Sharp. Shay Shay.
I don't
Hey,
know.
what's up, Shay Shay?
That doesn't sound masculine.
Well, I've heard people say that.
Nah, I'm cracking the dozens.
I've heard people.
Get a real name for your show.
I've heard people make that remark, like 55 years old, unmarried, and your name's Shay Shay, right?
Ooh. Oh.
But I'm not here to speculate
Hey,
on
I
that
don't
at
know
all.
about that.
Yeah, that's the
But
part,
I just don't.
and honestly, I don't care.
Yeah, who cares what he's doing behind closed doors? I don't even really care.
Right.
Like,
And
so what?
I can confirm though that he was a great football player.
There we go.
And his brother Sterling was actually better than him. Sterling had a neck injury, so his career ended early.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, but they were both. I mean, the Sharp brothers were great football players.
Just to hear you say Shay Shay, I'm just like, it don't even sound right you saying it.
It don't sound right. I say
No.
Shay Shay. Well,
Club Shay Shay.
Well, our daughter's name is Tay Tay, but she's a girl, so maybe that makes your point. If she was a boy, I don't know if I don't think I would call her Tay Tay if she was a boy.
Tay Tay don't sound like I don't know.
Yeah, if she were a
But
boy.
here I am, you know.
That's so true. That's a good point. So anyway, guys, all right. So we've clearly run out of things to talk about. So we're gonna go ahead and bounce out of here. Do us a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, Alicia's website is coachingwithdralicia.com. You can go there if you are interested in seeing what she does. She's a therapist, a full professor of social work, and she sees a lot of clients. So feel free to go visit her website. It's right there. Also, tomorrow morning, guys. We are doing financial consciousness training every single morning. We're going through my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. If you'd like to join us every morning, we're forming habits. You form a habit by doing something every day. I want you to become wealthy by talking about economics every day. I want us doing a financial lesson every day. So I will go with you. I will be your accountability partner every day. If you want to join us at 10 a.m. Eastern every single morning, just go to drboycedaily.com. That's drboycedaily.com. And last but not least, don't forget the All Black National Convention is going to be in Chicago, October 20th through the 22nd. And so if you'd like to join us outside, it's in Lombard, which is a suburb of Chicago. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com and reserve your spot. And that's it, guys. So I hope you guys have a great day. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. We love you. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Goodbye, everyone.